Hello and welcome to the NCAA Tournament Preview Show presented by Cadillac as UConn women's basketball seeks its 13th straight Final Four and 12th national championship. I'm Maria Marino, thrilled to be alongside Carol Walters and Megan Como. And on Selection Monday, UConn learned it would be a #1 seed, but it was the news involving their head coach that was a surprise. Hall of Famer Gino Auriemma announced he had tested positive for COVID-19 this past Sunday and would not be traveling to San Antonio for the first 2 rounds of the tournament. Gino will remain in isolation with hopes of reuniting with the team on March 24th. In the meantime, Coach has kindly agreed to join us right here, right now. Gino, thanks so much for making yourself available. And first things first, we want to check that you're still feeling well. So how are you doing?
Well, I'm feeling great. As of, actually all week long, I felt really well. It's been like a normal. I feel the way I feel every day, so I don't know what the deal is. That's when you say, well, you're gonna, you might feel tired, you might feel a little bit sluggish, whatever. But this whole year of COVID, after bottle of wine, that's my normal feeling every morning. So I'm not experiencing anything different than I usually am. And as far as making time to do this for you, I just carved out a chunk of time in my busy schedule so I could do this.
We're certainly glad for that under the circumstances. And on Wednesday, assistant coach Shea Ralph had to leave San Antonio out of an abundance of caution following a positive test in her family. How is she doing? And is this just another reminder of how tough a feat this tournament will be?
Yeah, it's mostly been one of those, just keep your fingers crossed and hope that we can get through each day unscathed. But with Shea, it was a family situation, and just to take no chances. It was important that she separate herself from the team and go home. She would have to quarantine for 14 days in her room. So best for her to be home away from the team. The fact that we're still able to have the tournament, I think, is a miracle. The logistics, I'm sure, are mind-boggling, but credit to the NCAA, Lynn Holtzman, and everyone who's been involved down there. They've been able to get this far, and every day that we have a test, and we test every day. So right before I came on, I just got a text from down there saying that everyone tested negative again. And, it's, you live for that now, it's like recruiting. Oh, I hope that kid calls saying they're coming to UConn. Now it's like, I hope they call and tell us we're allowed to play. So it's just completely, if you let it bother you, you won't get anything accomplished. So I'm proud of the players, the coaches, the support staff who have put themselves out there. This has been a memorable, if nothing else, season.
Yeah, one that you may want to forget, right, at some point with some of the stuff you're dealing with. Now, Gino, it was 32 years ago, if you can imagine that, the first time that Chris Daly filled in for you in a tournament. A long time ago. That was my freshman year. But I found it interesting that your players today say that she's harder on them, makes them run more in practice, and that the practices are more efficient than your practices. And I'm just curious what you have to say to that.
Well, I agree with all that, to be honest with you. People all these years have this impression that I'm like really, really hard to play for. And now it's coming out that in reality, I just kind of go to practice and, I just kind of let it roll, like, guys, dude, what's up? Give them a couple fist bumps and, we, do some shooting. CD comes in and it's like, it's like you were sent to the convent, but all the nuns got thrown out for being too nice, and they let CD in because she's what every nun should be, every sister. And that's what you get. So, anytime they're sitting there at practice going, man, Coach Rogema is really tough on us. Well, be careful what you wish for, because you got it now.
Coach, this season has been unique, to say the least. You have a young team going into tournament time. You don't know what to expect, right? Is this one of those things when they're young, it's good that they don't know much because, hey, ignorance is bliss?
Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah, it can go either way, Kara. If you take a real young team into the NCAA tournament, they don't know what's at stake sometimes. They're a little more just carefree. And if you're not careful, they treat it like it's, hey, this is just another road game. Let's go play. And that happened in the Final Four in 1991. We went down there and we're like, all these young kids, yeah, this is great. It's time of our lives. Look at this. We're going to great dinners. We're going, partying around New Orleans. Man, this is amazing. And then at halftime, we realized, damn, man, we better start playing basketball. We're going to get our butts kicked. So it's great until it isn't. But this particular group, they seem to have a pretty good sense of, when it's game time, how to compete. Now, don't get me wrong. What we did in the Big East tournament absolutely shocked me because I didn't know how they would react at tournament time, all those young players. And our young players were phenomenal. So can they carry that over to the NCAAs? I hope so, because if they do, we're going to be a tough out. Hopefully they really enjoyed that celebration at the Big East and they want to have another one. But this tournament is going to be a little more difficult than the last one.
Just a little bit. Hey, we're going to take a breather,
Yeah.
but there's a lot more to do when we come back. Gino's going to stick around as we dive deeper into UConn's quest for a record 12th national championship. We'll be right back. The Associated Press has named UConn leading scorer Paige Beckers a first-team All-American. This list presented by Cadillac. The only other freshmen to receive that honor were Maya Moore in 2008 and Oklahoma's Courtney Paris in 2006. An 11-time national champion head coach of the Huskies, Gino Auriemma, is still with us. Paige, I think it's safe to say, has done what's been asked of her, which is a lot. Now, heading into the highest stakes possible, how do you expect her to respond?
Well, it's like Kara was asking earlier. Paige is she's a unique player in that she enjoys the pressure that comes with the bigger the game. If you've noticed, she struggled a little bit at Tennessee because I think it was a little bit, her ankle was bothering her a little bit, or she was still in, I want to help my teammates mode, which I needed to get her out of that. Like, I said, I need you to help me. So I'm not worried about you helping your teammates right now. You need to help me feel good about us winning this game, because she's such a pass first, get her teammates involved kind of person. Now, this NCAA tournament, that will come in handy, because she'll make sure that everybody touches the ball, and gets to feel a part of it. But the expectations on Paige are sky high. As they should be. They'll probably be unrealistic. There'll be people that'll think, no matter what, it won't be enough unless we win a national championship. And even then, if she doesn't get 30 and 15 assists in that game, it won't be enough. So the bar's been set so high for that kid. But you know what? I've coached a few of those, and I think she's got the right stuff.
Coach, you're in arguably one of the toughest brackets. When you look at your region in the bracket, what stands out to you most?
You know, you're the second person that said that, Kara. All I know is, like, we play High Point, and then we play the winner of Syracuse and South Dakota State. And you would have to help me out here with who we play after that.
Potentially Tennessee.
Or?
Middle Tennessee.
Okay, so we play the winner of Tennessee, Middle Tennessee.
Yep.
And I haven't even looked. That's my
Iowa.
point.
Oh, I'm sorry,
No,
Iowa.
Iowa
Or Kentucky.
Iowa plays Central Michigan, and Kentucky plays Idaho State. So you could play, you know, a lot of people project that you may play Iowa.
And who would they have to beat to play us?
Iowa
would have
has
to beat Kentucky?
Central Michigan.
Wait, let me.
In the first round,
You're
Iowa
finding a
plays
time to
Central
look at the
Michigan.
bracket. You're in your basement quarantining.
That
Check out the
can't be
bracket.
right. That can't be right. Iowa would have to beat Central Michigan and someone else to play
Kentucky
us.
or
Kentucky.
Idaho State.
Kentucky.
Or
All right.
Idaho State.
So Iowa has to beat Kentucky, and we play the winner of Iowa, Kentucky if we get that far. That just goes to
If
show
get
you
that far.
that all I've been looking at, okay, is High Point, Syracuse, and South Dakota State. And I had a Zoom meeting with the coaches today, and that's all we talked about.
All right.
That's it. I couldn't tell you all the teams in our bracket. I'm not interested. I'm just interested in who we have next. And that's
Well, that
kind of
goes to
how
your-
I've done
yeah.
it all year.
And well, that goes to your consistency over the last, 36 years. You guys have, it's always been about your preparation, right? So you've always prepared the same way, one game at a time. And yes, you do have experience missing games, right? There have been 10 games in your career that Chris Daly had to coach for you, but none have been during the NCAAs at this time. What is the hardest part of this, and what keeps you awake at night?
Well, there were years when I looked ahead. When we had Stewie and them, I was like, who do we play first? And then they would say, I don't know, St. Francis or something. And then I would go, okay, who do we play in the Final Four? So when we had Stewie, I thought a little bit differently, But now I think the way I'm thinking now, 1 or 2 games, that's it. As far as CD being in charge, I wouldn't want to have anybody else, running the operation. And I wouldn't want to have anybody else sitting next to her than Jamel Elliott. To be honest with you.
I was going to say, it's great that Jamel's there too, right?
I mean, I would trust those. I would trust those two with my life, and I know. Look, you know how CD is. She's a strict disciplinarian. When that finger comes down and she starts doing this with you, and all that stuff, and that's all well and good, but the person who carries the hammer on that bench, that's JJ.
Gino, we know this isn't.
Kara, you know that.
Yep.
This isn't your first.
Between the two of them, they're going to be prepared because both of them are incredibly disciplined, incredibly hardworking, and thorough. So everything that can be done to get ready for these games will be done. There will be no stones left unturned. Trust me.
I know not your first choice of where you'd like to be, Gino, but we really appreciate the time. Wish you the best over these next few weeks.
Well, thank you, and I hope the next time we talk, it'll be from Texas.
Hope so. Still to come on the show, Kristen Williams and Olivia Nelson-Adota are the only current players to have competed in the NCAA tournament while wearing a UConn uniform. We'll discuss their importance right after this. Welcome back and have a look at the 4 teams awarded #1 seeds by the NCAA. Stanford at 25-2 is the top seed. There's UConn at 24-1, NC State at 20-2, and South Carolina 22-4. Each of the schools won their respective conference tournament titles. Monday was a whirlwind as UConn was eager to learn of their potential path to the Final Four, but also accept that Gino would not be traveling with them. And in sitting down with Olivia Nelson-Ododa, she shared that her team is more than comfortable with Chris Daly.
We don't just rely on one person. And so having CD kind of fill in that role really isn't much of a change at all. She's still a very relentless and passionate coach, and that's just only going to add on to the way we play and the way that she's going to coach us going into the tournament. So, we're all hoping that coach can come back and, like I said before, healthy and safe. But, moving forward with CD, there's not really, much of a change. We're still getting the same style, the same coaching effect too.
1 year ago, you experienced the tournament getting canceled. So how eager are you to just play this out? It's been 2 years since you played in an NCAA tournament.
Exactly. I mean, just kind of thinking about that is pretty crazy, especially for me and Kristen. That was our last time being able to play in the NCAA tournament with UConn. And so kind of just moving forward, like with our team and, adjusting to different things like that. I think we're just super excited. And like I said before, super grateful for the opportunity. And we're really going to go down to San Antonio and try and make the most of it.
Well, your team was playing its best basketball really in that Big East tournament run. Would you say that was just because of the higher stakes of the postseason, or was there more to it?
I think it's a combination of both, but I also think it's a testament, to how much we prepared and practiced for moments like that, especially on the defensive end. I think we made huge strides in getting better at defense throughout the entire year, and we were able to showcase that in the Big East tournament.
And you personally have just gotten so much more comfortable, it looks like, as the season has gone on. In what ways do you feel like your game has gotten stronger, and how are you feeling about just your ability to perform in whatever ways the team needs?
I think just kind of being there for my teammates and recognizing different situations that, I'm needed in or I should play my role in, whether it's offensive or defense. Just kind of trying to help the team as best as I can, I think, and continue to work on that each day that we come to practice. And I know I'm not the only person. Our team is constantly, talking to our staff and the coaches and trying to figure out, like, what do we need to work on personally and what we need to work on collectively as a team to just keep getting better.
So as much as Paige Bueckers can carry to an extent, this team is so much more dangerous when Kristen Williams and Olivia Nelson-Ododa are at the top of their games. Which player is more crucial to the success of UConn in the tourney, Kara?
That's a really hard question to answer, Maria, but off the bat, I want to say Kristen Williams. But then, if you look at different games, different people are important, right? Kristen Williams' defense has just improved tremendously. You saw her be that lockdown defender in the Big East tournament. They're going to need that from her in the tournament as well as her offensive game. Then you look at potential games like Baylor, and you say, Olivia Nelson-Ododa. She's huge in that game. Plus, she's become quite the passer, I think, this season as well. So I think Olivia Nelson-Ododa and Kristen Williams are kind of both the answers to those questions because different things are needed on different nights. But I think they're peaking at the right time. You're seeing the game and the consistency pick up from Kristen Williams. And when she has that energy and Olivia brings it strong with that physicality, tough team to stop.
Yeah, I agree, Kara. And, I also, you bring up the defensive game of Kristen Williams. It seems that the more she's focused on her defense and takes away the other team's best scorer, well, her offensive game seems to raise a little bit, which has been pretty interesting. So if she can continue to do that, she has changed this team defensively, and they've gotten so good on the defensive end of the floor over this last third of the season. If she can continue that and then can continue to score, and then to your point, Kara, about Olivia Nelson-Ododa, what she's been able to do in the lane, whether it's getting that presence down low and scoring in the low post or flashing to that high post and distribute like she's been able to do so well. And then someone like Aaliyah Edwards comes in off the bench and makes a huge difference. So those two juniors are the only ones who do have NCAA tournament experience. But the better they play, the better this team's chances are for sure.
Avina Westbrook, some tournament experience as well, though not for UConn, so don't want to forget about her. We are not done yet on the tourney preview show. Still ahead, a closer look at UConn's bracket and the challenges they'll face on the way to their ultimate goal. Check out the Riverwalk region of the NCAA women's basketball tournament bracket, where UConn is the #1 seed. They face potential matchups in the Sweet 16 with 4th-seeded Kentucky or 5th-seeded Iowa. Then could meet 2-seed Baylor or 3-seed Tennessee in the Elite Eight. Got to put you both on the spot here and ask your tournament predictions. Do you see UConn making it to the finals? And if so, Meg, who do you see them facing?
I have them getting to the finals. It's tough between Stanford and Maryland, but Maryland's got a kid on their team whose mother was an assistant coach my freshman year, so I got to go with the heart. I'm going with Maryland.
Well, I'm going UConn and Stanford. I mean, this is a season where it's not all #1s. There are no givens this year, right? So I think Texas A&M is going to beat NC State, but I'm still going to take the 2 #1s as winners of this tournament.
Stacked tournament, anything can happen, and that's all for our NCAA tournament preview show. Huge thank you to our special guest, Gino Auriemma, and it's always a pleasure working with Kara Walters and Meg Como. I'm Maria Marino. Make sure you save the date for our UConn Season in Review show, April 6th. Until then, enjoy the games. Huskies looking to hang up a 12th championship banner.